country bumpkins should sit at the back. What are you trying to do? Going all the way up front. At the networking event, I accidentally ran into a beautiful classmate from high school. I've always been ridiculed by her every time we met. However, I don't think being from the countryside is a bad thing. I believe there are things that can only be done because it's the countryside. So, there's no reason for me to be looked down upon like this. Cut it out already. It's you who should cut it out. There's no seat for a poor person here. It was then I was about to reveal a certain truth to her. Long time no see, Tom. You're the executive director. Please take a seat at the head of the table. Saying so, a beautiful secretary hurried over. To the bewildered former classmate, she explained that it was my networking event. And it was this incident that would lead to the downfall of the former classmate. I am Tom, a 47-year-old bachelor. Currently, I work at a branch office located in the countryside. The town where the branch is located is far away from downtown New York. Nearby, there's a vast plateau that shows the beauty of the four seasons, and since it's at a slightly higher altitude, the air is fresh. However, even though there's a bus service, it takes about an hour to get to the nearest train station, which is a bit inconvenient. But I have my own car, and traffic jams only happen during the tourist season, so I don't feel too inconvenienced. Good morning. Good morning, Tom. Did something good happen? Actually, I spotted a rainbow earlier. It made me feel quite happy. The colleagues at the branch are all nice people. They are kind and considerate, and we often hang out together on weekends. Sometimes, colleagues' children come over, and we all play together, regardless of age. In that way, I quite like working at the branch. Wow, look, a poor country person is here. Really, the countryside smell is just unbearable. However, a woman named Emily, who was a former classmate that joined a company the same year as me, always ridiculed me for working in the countryside. Tom, you might have had good grades, but you're just not cool, you know. Since high school, Emily has always looked down on me. She's the annoying type who always calls things lame. Everyone kept their distance from her, and frankly, she was disliked among our classmates. That's why I was never harassed or ostracized by her. Emily really bugs you a lot. Yes, really. It's good everyone's on my side. Well, that's because you have a good personality. Still, I was tired of her constant pestering. So, when we went our separate ways for college, I was genuinely relieved. But I was slightly despaired when I found out we were working for the same company. Tom, you're still in the countryside, right? A perpetual country bumpkin with no prospects for advancement. Emily, being based at the headquarters, naturally had no interaction with me, stationed at the branch. Yet, at the annual employee training, she would mock me for still being posted in the countryside. I'm a talented elite, always working at the headquarters. Just the other day, I personally went on a deal and secured a major contract. Yeah, that's great. Furthermore, Emily would boast about her own abilities. I would just sigh and brush it off nonchalantly. Indeed, she was competent at her job, and her grades in high school were not bad either. I've heard she even went to a prestigious university, though I don't know the details. However, it seems no one wants to be around her because of her personality. At the training, people would talk to me, but no one would approach her. I don't really care whether it's a branch office or the headquarters. After all, working at a branch has its own rewarding aspects. I was fed up with Emily, who still ridicules me and brags about herself. Hey, Tom. Hey, Michael. Emily, I'm borrowing Tom for a bit. Michael, another colleague and friend from the same period, pulled me away from Emily. He has made a career at the headquarters and is now apparently the director of human resources. Unlike Emily, Michael doesn't make distinctions like because it's the headquarters or because it's a branch office. The branch office you're at now is near the Highlands, right? I've been thinking about going cycling there with my family. That sounds good. The daffodils are blooming around this time. Really? Maybe I'll go this weekend then. Let me know some recommended spots again. He has a strong interest in the countryside because his whole family enjoys outdoor activities, and he always wants to hear about it from me. Every time he visits, he brings lots of souvenirs too. By the way, Tom, don't you have someone special yet? I'm not really interested in that sort of thing. Come on, having a family is a great thing. I just gave a wry smile in response. My colleagues at the branch say the same, but I'm not really into romance. Since joining as a new graduate, I've experienced several transfers. But all of them, like my current branch, were in nature-rich areas far from the urban centers. There were places with clear streams, small forests and mountains, and even near the sea. Nothing really. As someone raised in New York, I initially missed the city. I found it boring not having places to hang out after work, and thought the only good thing was the clean air. Wow, fireflies. You can't see this kind of scene in the city. However, after a few years, I completely adapted to country life. When I was stationed near a clear stream, I would go fishing before work. A colleague's wife would cook the fish I caught, and I'd savor it at lunch. There was also a camping site nearby, so we had barbecues with the local people. After work, I'd stop by a hot spring in the mountains, or set up a telescope on my home balcony for stargazing. With no obstructions, I could clearly see meteor showers and fireworks. Sometimes Michael's family would join, and those times were particularly lively and offered a different kind of fun. You can't have these experiences in this city. I was enjoying a salaryman's life to the fullest, doing things you can't do in the heart of the city. Of course, I worked hard at my job too. Even though we're close outside of work, everyone is serious at work. But the atmosphere is never bad. It's a workplace where I can be myself. It's thanks to you, Tom. I haven't done anything special. Though they often say things like that, I haven't done anything extraordinary. I just communicate well and maintain a friendly atmosphere. The downside of being continuously posted in rural areas is that it's hard to hang out with friends from my student days. I can hang out if someone proactive like Michael comes over, but honestly, there aren't many like him. When I invite them, they say, "There's nothing to do in the countryside, right?" I'm busy myself, and having grown accustomed to the rural air, I find New York's air hard to breathe. Besides, it feels somewhat awkward to visit places where others have families, all by myself. Tom is such a good guy. It wouldn't be strange if he had someone. Well, I just haven't been lucky with relationships. Also, there are few women in the department I belong to. Moreover, most of them were either married or had been in a relationship since their student days, so everyone already had a partner. In an environment where I was dedicated to my work, couldn't hang out with friends, and had few women in my department. As a result, I found myself still single and without a partner even in my 40s. Someone had a baby. It's not that I'm in a rush to get married. I'm surrounded by nature and my days are fulfilling. But when I receive New Year's cards from families, especially those with photos of their children, I sometimes wish I had a family too. Interacting with Michael's family and my colleagues' children, I can't help but find kids adorable. Well, it can't be helped. Thinking about it won't change the situation, so I had somewhat resigned myself to my circumstances. Moved to the headquarters. One day, I received a transfer order to the headquarters. I couldn't believe it, and when I double-checked with Michael, he just laughed and said it was no mistake. Honestly, I thought I would end my work life rotating for countryside branches, so I was genuinely surprised. Anyway, I need to prepare. At the branch, everyone dressed casually, so I rarely needed to wear a suit. But at the headquarters, I would need good suits. I'd have to sell my car and then find a place to live that's reasonably convenient for commuting. There's a lot to do. I hurried to make all the necessary arrangements. Goodbye to country living. I'm going to miss it a bit. Before I knew it, time flew by, and it was my last day at the branch. Tom, it's goodbye for today. Take care of yourself out there. You're always welcome to come and visit. Thank you all for everything. On my last day at the branch, I was surrounded by everyone. They all cared for me and had kind words to share. Let's celebrate Tom's transfer to the headquarters by going out for drinks. So, a farewell party was arranged for me on my last day. It'll be lonely without Tom here. Oh, let me know once you have an address. I'll send you some delicious Highland vegetables. Really. Thank you so much. Congratulations. When it's festival time in town, come back. We'll pull you right into the thick of it. Thank you. Please, go easy on me. Being celebrated by everyone, I felt truly loved. Then, I moved to the apartment I had rented in the city. Tom, I came to visit. Michael, you're quick. As I was unpacking, Michael came to visit right away. He helped me with the unpacking and then took me out for drinks. Finally made it to New York. Tom. Honestly, I thought I'd end up in the countryside. He would never have allowed that. Anyway, I have something I want to discuss with you. Welcomed by Michael, I found myself giving advice. Or rather, it felt more like I was listening to his complaints. The content of what I heard left me astonished. The next day, I commuted to the headquarters by train for the first time in 20 years. Unlike the empty trains in the countryside, it was hard enough just to stand in the packed train, let alone find a seat. It's frightening how one can get used to things, considering this was normal for me 20 years ago. Yet, I find this feeling nostalgic. And I'm also happy to have made it back here like this. I'm Tom. I look forward to working with you. For the first month, I was scheduled to rotate through various departments within the headquarters. In each department, I would spend a few days to delve into detailed discussions. Tom, it's been so long. Long time no see. I'm looking forward to working with you. How's the sales department? Well, no major issues, but there's this one person. I had nostalgic chats with colleagues from my same periods in each department and learned about the atmosphere within each team. Oh, so you're Tom. I look forward to working with you. Yes, likewise. Then, I might rely on you for this. Yes. By the way, I overheard something. I went around various departments like HR, accounting, public relations, sales, and customer support, listening to the current situations from the department heads. Unlike the branch offices, there were many people working here. Even within the same department, remembering everyone's faces and names seemed challenging. Still, I managed to get hands-on experience with each department's operations. I need to remember all this well for the future. And then, a welcome party at the headquarters was arranged for the weekend to commemorate my transfer. Such a nice hotel. It feels a bit embarrassing. The welcome party was held in a nice hotel banquet hall. I arrived at the hotel wearing a new, reasonably expensive suit I had bought specifically for this occasion. Oh no. Oh, look, it's the eternal country bumpkin. However, in the elevator hall, I unexpectedly ran into Emily, a beautiful former classmate. She looked at me and smirked unpleasantly. What's a country bumpkin doing here? Emily was the first among our colleagues to work at the headquarters, an elite from the start. She continued working mainly at the headquarters and has now been promoted to a section chief. Well, it seems Michael was promoted faster than her. Emily has always ridiculed me for working at a branch, especially one far from the city. I've finally made it to the headquarters too. She was the last person I wanted to see, to be honest. I tried to brush her off with a forced smile and move on quickly. Finally, it really feels too late. Now the headquarters will smell like the countryside. But Emily didn't care that we were in the hotel's elevator hall and started throwing aggressive comments at me. Since she got into the same elevator, she kept pestering me. Long time at the branch. Oh, you look so out of place. In that suit, did you try too hard to buy it? It doesn't suit you at all. I desperately tried to suppress the urge to sigh and prayed for the elevator to reach its destination quickly. I managed to leave her behind and enter the venue. As I was heading to my seat. Wait a minute. What? Country bumpkins should sit at the back. What are you trying to do? Going all the way up front. Saying so, she grabbed my arm and, to top it off, ridiculed me loudly. I was getting fed up with her looking down on my beloved countryside. Cut it out already. You're the one who needs to cut it out. There's no seat for poor people here. I was about to reveal a certain truth to the persistent Emily when, you're here. What? A beautiful woman approached us. Long time no see, Tom. You're the executive director. Please take a seat at the head of the table. Yes. A familiar woman casually separated me from Emily and escorted me to the executive seat. Executive director, what are you talking about? Tom belongs at the back, the very back. Emily, apparently unaware, continued to protest as she followed. The woman turned to give Emily a cold look. Tom is an executive director. That's why he needs to be properly seated at the head table. At her words, Emily's eyes widened in shock. In fact, my over 20 years of development achievements at the branch were recognized, and I was brought back to the headquarters as an executive director. That's the situation. I've become an executive director and am now working at the headquarters. Returning to the headquarters this late might be unusual among my colleagues, but becoming an executive director is undoubtedly a significant promotion. It's no wonder Emily finds it hard to believe. That's a lie. That can't be. But despite the reality, Emily seemed unable to accept it. Perhaps she couldn't bear the thought that someone she ridiculed so much had surpassed her in career advancement. Truth be told, except for me and Emily, almost everyone else has become at least a department head. Now, Emily would be the least advanced among us. Why you of all people? Then, Emily, in a fit of rage, took off her heel and tried to strike me with it. In an instant, the woman moved, and Emily's high heel dropped with a thud. What are you doing? With a graceful move, she kicked away Emily's high heel. Wow, awesome, so cool. That's our Sarah. Considering the unpleasant rumors I heard about Emily while visiting various departments, it seems she already had many adversaries. The crowd was energized by the scene. And then, looking at this impressive woman, I finally remembered who she was. Right, she's Sarah. Emily, that's going too far. Let go of me. Sarah rubbed her hands and twisted Emily's arms behind her back. Then, to no avail, Emily was handed over to a security guard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for waiting. We will now begin the welcome party. Just as Emily was escorted out, the welcome party was about to start. Sarah, serving as the host, led the party to a lively start. Nice to meet you all. I've been transferred here as the executive director. I look forward to working with everyone. During the party, I also gave a speech as the new executive director. Although I have been devoted to research until now, I want to contribute to the growth of our company alongside everyone here at the headquarters. I've worked at a branch for 20 years and am very satisfied with that experience, for which I am grateful to my colleagues there. So, Regardless of whether it's a branch or the headquarters, I hope we can all cooperate." I gave the speech nervously. As everyone applauded, I felt a bit embarrassed. The rest of the evening was enjoyable, surrounded by colleagues. Meanwhile, Emily, who had been removed from the party, was later called by Michael after the event ended. As the executive director, I was also present at the meeting. "You know why you've been called here?" "Yes." Emily was visibly disheartened. She kept glancing at Michael. He witnessed her actions at the party as the Director of Human Resources. "You will be transferred to a branch starting next month." "That can't be." And so, Emily was ordered to transfer to the branch where I used to work. Although she might understand, unlike my transfer, which was due to recognition of my work, this was a demotion for her. I've always worked at the headquarters, and if it's just about the work, indeed, you might be excellent when it comes to work alone. However, that's only possible because of your subordinates' achievements. Michael revealed this, showing results from interviews with her subordinates. Emily was taking credit for her subordinates' work achievements and using them to advance her own career. Despite that, she constantly boasted about these achievements as her own, which led to her being disliked by others. This had already been rumored, and as I visited various departments, it was mentioned as the only problem in the company. Additionally, her methods were somewhat forceful, sometimes even leading to complaints from business partners. "Here's the evidence," and Michael showed me a document. It was a printed exchange between Michael and Emily. Emily was making advances towards Michael, who was married. "I've told you many times, I have no intention of having that kind of relationship with you." Michael spoke coldly. Looking at it again, it was honestly distasteful. Michael had confided in me about this matter when he first came here. "Emily's been hitting on me, asking me to have an affair with her." That's what I was told, and I listened to the story. Apparently, Emily and Michael attended the same university. Emily had been infatuated with Michael since then, but he was already engaged to his current wife at the time. Despite not giving up and joining the same company, they were in different departments, and Michael initially worked at a branch office. Since Michael and I started at the same branch, we became close. Emily was jealous that she couldn't get close to Michael. That's why she started pestering me. Later, when Michael moved to the headquarters, they reunited. But by then, Michael was already married with children, so he rejected all her advances. Yet, he would visit me. So, her harassment towards me was out of jealousy and spite. "Your behavior is intolerable. However, I'm willing to overlook this incident if you go somewhere out of my sight. I've already spoken to Chris, the branch manager over there, and informed him everything about you. Please take care of everyone there." As we both told her this, Emily collapsed to her knees. She might as well enjoy the countryside life she despises so much. "You seem to have made quite the impact already, Tom, just as I expected." "I'm humbled, Mr. Johnson." The next day, I was summoned by President Johnson. "It was indeed the right decision to call you here. I wish I could have done it sooner." For 20 years, I worked in the research department of a branch office, focusing on the research of LCD panels, the company's main product. Due to the need for clean air suitable for LCD panel research, it couldn't be conducted in urban areas. For that reason, I had been rotating from branches located in the countryside with clean air. Life in the countryside was also conducive to relaxation between research sessions. "I'm humbled, Mr. Johnson." It's the truth, isn't it? I graduated from a fairly renowned university with excellent grades. My graduation thesis on LCD panels was well received, and after reading it, President Johnson saw potential in me and recruited me to the company. "I'm very satisfied with your contributions since joining us. I've always thought about when to bring you back to the headquarters as an executive. Thank you. I smiled at President Johnson's words. I had always wanted to stay in research as long as possible, so I kept requesting to stay at the branches even when promotions were discussed. Thus, I continued my research at the branch until my mid-40s. This personnel change seemed to be their way of finally drawing a line. Well, I'll do my best as an executive director now. Yes, I'm counting on you. When I returned to the executive director's office, Sarah served me tea. I smiled at that. Thank you, Sarah. You're welcome. Sarah, you were the receptionist at that branch, right? I'm glad you remembered. I nodded at Sarah's happy face. Though, to be honest, I had forgotten. Sarah had drawn attention at the welcome party, but when she first said long time no see, I couldn't recall where we had met. I just had a vague sense of recognition. However, I remembered when she kicked Emily's high heel away. Sarah was the employee who had been working at the reception at the branch where I used to work. Good morning, Tom. Good morning. You have a lovely smile today as well. Thank you. She greeted me with a sunny smile every day. During lunch breaks, she would often come by to hear what I was up to, and we became quite friendly. I was originally hired for a position in New York but requested a transfer after joining. She shared such details with me during our conversations. Then, an incident occurred. One time there was a suspicious person trying to steal branch information under the guise of a business partner. You seem suspicious. Could you explain that again? Damn it. Wait. Sarah launched a flying kick at the moment and subdued the intruder. She became the hero of the branch. That was amazing, Sarah. Oh, my father was a karate instructor. Really? But a cute girl like you shouldn't be getting hurt doing dangerous things. Yes, sure. I was there at the time, so her kick reminded me of her. You've become a secretary now. I look forward to working with you. Yes, I always believed you would become an executive director, so I worked hard to study to be a secretary. Is that so? I later found out that Sarah had harbored feelings for me since our time at the branch. Despite her boldness in martial arts, she was shy in matters of love. Unable to express her feelings while at the branch, she aimed to become a secretary to eventually work with me, whom she believed would be promoted. With the departmental inspections complete, I officially began my duties as an executive director. My responsibilities mainly involved overseeing research and development and production departments. I was excited to apply my knowledge on a larger scale and enjoy working in a more significant field. Additionally, readjusting to life in New York after a long time was pleasant. This city was lively even at night, with various specialty stores and entertainment options. However, I was unfamiliar with places to eat lunch. After a 20-year absence, many things had changed. That shop over there is famous for its delicious pasta. Really? Let's give it a try. Yes. Sarah, now my secretary, recommended places and accompanied me. She seemed unusually happy during such times, and seeing her like that naturally made me smile too. Tom, this is a small token of my appreciation. You didn't have to. You've listened to quite a bit, haven't you? And because you were there, the demotion went smoothly. Though I hadn't done much, Michael brought me a token of appreciation. He's really earnest. How about we go out as thanks? That's a kind offer, but now that the troublemaker is gone, I'm thinking of spending some time with my family. I see. Can be helped then. Yes. Instead, make sure to prioritize Sarah. I was puzzled when Michael mentioned Sarah and ended up tilting my head in confusion. Anyway, I'm thinking of inviting Sarah to one of the places Michael recommended. My kids think of you as a kind of uncle, you know. Really? They were really happy that spring has come. Is that so? I didn't quite understand, but it sounded like a good thing. After a while, I got a call from Chris from the branch I used to work at. Apparently, unlike me, Emily wasn't fitting in well. Her assertive attitude during sales visits was met with even stronger responses, leaving her dejected. But finding a new job at this age would be difficult. So she's working without changing jobs, almost in tears every day. When we told everyone about your achievements, they felt remorseful for disrespecting you, Chris informed me lastly. It's good she's reflecting. I hope she can correct her course and lead a decent life. There's still some prejudice against rural branches, unfortunately. But every department in a company plays a crucial role. So, where you work doesn't determine your worth. It's a shame Emily, who was originally capable of work, forgot that by clinging to her headquarters position. Now, as an executive, I'm determined to ensure no such hierarchical view forms within the company. Recently, Sarah invited me. Would you like to join me for a dinner inspection at an important client's place tonight? I'm not yet used to such occasions and thought of leaving it to her. But I always rely on her, and the place was recommended by Michael. Maybe I should go. Dad, are you okay? Do you have a fever? No, I'm fine. Sarah blushed for some reason at my response. I wonder what that was about. I pondered absent-mindedly. After some more time passed and I became accustomed to my work as executive director, I found myself a bit more laid back. A festival was scheduled to take place in the town of the branch office where I had previously worked. I invited Sarah to the festival and took the opportunity to visit the branch. Long time no see. Is that girl your girlfriend? My former colleagues were all well, and Emily was shrinking in a corner. In the midst of this, everyone teased me about bringing a girlfriend. No, she's my secretary. Oh dear, Tom might be oblivious, but good luck. Okay. As Sarah blushed again, we thoroughly enjoyed the festival. While watching the fireworks side by side, Sarah said, Tom. Huh? I've always had feelings for you, Tom. Hearing her feelings, we embarked on a happy journey together.